Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're calling from. Lots of people rolling in right now. So while we're waiting for everybody to just get logged in and get comfortable, please find that chat function at the bottom and drop your name in there, where you're calling from, and anything else you want to tell us about yourself. We have a really exciting presentation today. So your presenters will be Mark Bateman, who is our Director of Technical Account Management for Eastern US. And making a special guest appearance will be Kevin Woodworth, our Global Director of Technical Account Management, and they are going to be introducing our new IQ water valve. So while we're getting started, I'm just going to drop some quick polls in there, and we'll get moving. There we go. All righty. So far, we got just over half of you attended last week's session on PowerG Temps and the Smarter Business Temperature Monitoring Service. Great to see all those folks back again. We'll give that a few more seconds. Mark, do we have any people dropping in there?
I think it's almost full.
That's great. All right, let's going to close that poll. Okay, our next poll. There we go. What percentage of time are you installing flood sensors? All right, let's go. About 10%, 100% of the time. That's awesome. Big majority though, less than 25%, 61%, less than 25%. That's, I think you'll be installing a lot more flood sensors after Mark and Kevin give this presentation, because tying those flood sensors to IQ water valve is going to be a big win for everybody.
Well, I think those people that are up there in the 75, 100%, I mean, they realize the value, and it's an easy upgrade if you push those properly.
Great. I'm going to close that poll. And next. There we go. What flood sensors are you installing primarily? Big percentage of PowerG, big percentage of S-Line. Very good. There we go. 65% installing PowerG floods. That's awesome.
Yeah, up to 68 now.
Yep. So, yeah.
70.
70%. Look at that. All right, we'll close that poll. And two more. Nice and easy. Are you currently offering a smart water valve solution? And if so, which ones? Choose all that apply. Okay, very big percentage do not offer smart water valves currently. 61%. 68. 25% of you installing the alarm.com water valve. That's good. Those numbers are going to change. You're going to be installing 68% of you are going to be installing IQ water valve by the time this presentation is done.
It's an awesome device.
All right, we'll launch the last poll, and then we'll hand it off to Kevin and Mark, and here we go. What is the value you see in providing flood detection in conjunction with smart water valves? Low, medium, or high? Should be high for everything, but let's see. 92% high, 87, 88, 91. All right, so obviously, you all see the value of having flood detection in conjunction with smart water valves. It's just over 85%, 11% for medium. So that's great. So I'm going to close these polls. And just a reminder, or I guess it would be a reminder, after this webinar closes, there will be a survey popping up on your screen. So please do stay on and complete that survey. It's going to help us design future workshops and make sure we're giving you the information that you require to be successful. So I'm going to pass this off now, and off to you, gents.
Yeah, thank you, Neil. Really appreciate it. Those were awesome polls. Excited to see those numbers, and get a little bit better insight into your business. So we are very excited today to talk about the new IQ water valve. This is a brand new product that's coming to market here this month. So we'll talk a little bit about launch planning here at the end of the webinar, but we wanted to give you a sneak peek into the product today, talk about what it is, how it's different, and then kind of go through the installation process as well as some best practices. So we'll try to be quick. Again, today, these are really designed to be 20, maybe 30-minute webinars at most, kind of bite-size bits that you can take in and learn about the products without devoting too much of your day. So with that, we're going to jump right into the IQ water valve. So, what is it? It's quite a bit different than a lot of the water valves you may be used to in the market today. A lot of the water valves that you see out there today require a plumber, and they're very expensive. And so that's been cost prohibitive, right? They're $300, $400, sometimes even $500 for the valve. You have to cut the pipe to install it and hire a plumber to do that. That's another, several hundred up to $500. And so, I would say the typical smart water valve install in our market today has been right at around $1,000 mark, and that's been a real barrier to entry into the smart water market. And so one of the things we've tried to do specifically with this product is to bring that barrier down. We want to drive up the adoption and the ease of install and lower the cost here. And I think we've done that. So we're very excited about it. So this is retrofit, no plumber needed. It literally installs in 2 minutes, maybe less. You're gonna get to see that here in a little bit. We'll actually install one here on a pipe. It's retrofit. It's designed to fit quarter turn ball valves. So that's anything, if you can see my camera, anything kind of like this, just a simple quarter turn valve, which is the majority of the valves on the market today, be it newer homes or even some older homes as well. It doesn't work on gate valves. So if it's really old, it's got the actual spinner gate valve, kind of like a hose bib or something like that, that's not going to work. But a lot of different types of ball valves, different sizes, are going to work with this product. And we're going to show you that today on a couple different pipes and products, different types of valves. It's rated for both indoor and outdoor use. That's important. I live in Utah. All of our plumbing comes in, it gets real cold here. All of our plumbing comes in underground. Everything's buried. So all of our main shutoff valves are inside our houses. But in different parts of the country, in the South, Florida, Texas, with all the flooding that you just had after that kind of deep freeze, California, many other places are going to have their valves outside the home. And so it's important that it's outdoor rated. So it's certified to IP66, which is great. This was designed to specifically work with IQ Panel, Neo, and Power Series Pro. It's real easy and learns right in. We'll show you that. And it's also built on the new kind of latest and greatest Z-Wave protocol called Z-Wave 700. So that gives you, increased range, increased reliability. S2 encryption is standard. So some really nice things there with Z-Wave 700. One other really cool thing that it does is it has adaptive torque. So it will actually adjust the amount of force needed to open and close that valve. Some valves are really difficult to open, some open very easily. And so being able to kind of automatically account for that on each install is important. That way you're not using too much force. You're also not using too little of force on some of those stickier valves. You can pair this with a leak sensor. So if you have a flood sensor on the panel, it'll actually kind of sync up with that in the cloud, so that if if the leak sensor detects a flood, the valve will automatically shut off. So that's an important part of the automation. Of course, you can manually control it. You can manually close it or open it. Maybe it's in a vacation home, you want it closed while you're not there. You can do that from the panel or from the app. But it can also be fully automated, where if it actually detects, it will automatically close, which is nice. And then I mentioned some of the affordability. This is significantly less than other products on the market today, both in the upfront hardware cost as well as in your installation cost, with no plumber needed.
So these are the different options we're going to have for purchasing this product. You notice up top it says kit options, but the first option here is actually just being able to purchase it individually. So just off the shelf from the distributor. You'll see the part number there. But then we're gonna have it in two different kit options. So one will be with flood sensors. So in this specific kit, you'd get 3 S-line, the IQ flood sensors. And then the other kit would be the Power G kit, which comes with 2 Power G sensors. And as far as the pricing when this comes out, those 2 kits will actually be the same price. So if you go with the three S lines or the two Power Gs, it'll be the same price. It's just, knowing your customer, knowing, that house, are you going to need a little bit more range? If it's a smaller home, then you probably just, get away with the S line. If it's a larger home, if you're getting into, maybe even some commercial situations or something where you did want to install this, or bigger warehouse, barn, outbuildings, you'd want to use that Power G one for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mark. And the other thing I'll say about these kit prices is we're highly incenting the kit price here. So the difference between the standalone water valve and the kit price is really, really aggressive. You'll find the net cost of these flood sensors ends up being really attractive versus kind of buying them a la carte. And again, that's because we really want to incentivize the use of a flood sensor so that you build that value, you get that extra value in the automation where they're paired together, and you get some of that automation more than just a kind of a smart on-off valve. So we're really excited about that and being able to offer those at the same price. We've got an install video here. I'm going to skip the install video because it doesn't play very well in the webinar, but Neil or Mark Buckley, if you could in the chat, if you would post the link to the product page for this on our website. Everybody can go look at this page after the webinar. We've got a really great landing page there. It's got a picture, it's got a description, it's got the part numbers that you need. It's got a really nice installation video, as well as the quick guide that you can actually download after the fact, all on that one landing page for the product. So we won't watch it here, but make sure to take some time and watch it after the fact. It's a really great video that walks you through this process. Now, this is right from the quick guide. We're going to use this kind of as a follow along, but we're actually going to go ahead and install that here on a couple different valves and show you how that works. So I've got a couple different mock-up valves here in my office. I've got kind of a larger metal pipe valve. This is on a 1-inch pipe. This is a very big valve. It's got kind of a fat handle. It's got this really tall brass tab. This is what we call a NIBCO valve. So these are fairly common in certain parts of the country. Here we've got a little bit newer valve. This is on 1-inch PEX pipe. This is a pretty standard valve we're seeing in a lot of new construction. You can see the valve handle is a lot smaller than this NIBCO valve. So we've done a lot of research here. We've done a lot of beta testing. Some of you guys were part of that beta. And what we're finding is different parts of the country, different ages of homes have a lot of different types of valves that are out there. Here's a really small valve. This is on 3/4-inch PEX. You can see not only is it smaller than the 1-inch, but it's also what we call very low profile. So it doesn't stick up off the pipe very much. And so this is something we want you to pay attention to when you're actually looking at the valves. Now, we've designed the product here. I've got this in a box. We'll do an unboxing here. You've got your QR codes on the side. You've got a link to that website along with some instructions. So we'll go ahead and open this up. I want to show you some of the design on the water valve and how we've accounted for the adjustability in a lot of different types of valves, as well as what we're going to be doing going forward to improve the product over time. So if I take it out of the box here, we'll open this up. This is the actual water valve here. You can see that it's designed to mount on different sizes of pipes. It's got these clamps, and they open all the way up. Again, 1.25" on the big side, all the way down to 1/2 inch on the small side. The feet also slide side to side, so these feet can kind of widen out, and that's if you need to clear any of the bigger fittings here. Maybe you need to create more space between some different types of plumbing fittings. And then the fork. This is a really important part. this fork here is adjustable. It's spring loaded, and so it can go up and down, and that really accounts for the height of the valve here between the pipe and the top the nut. So depending on how tall this valve is, we can account for that. So side to side, thickness of pipe, as well as overall size of the valve, we're trying to account for as many as we possibly can. Now, this isn't going to fit every single quarter turn ball valve out there. There's certainly going to be applications where you get there, you fit this onto it. It's either going to be too low profile or too high profile. We're going to have too many fittings or things like that. And it's just not going to work in every single application. But we're finding we can address the vast majority of applications in the marketplace today with this adjustability. And we're also working on a couple new additions, which I'll show you, which will increase the number of valves we can work on as well. So to start, the first thing you're going to do to install this, I'm going to go ahead and install this on my 1-inch PEX valve here. You would normally have the water flowing through the pipe in the home. The very first thing you're going to do is super easy. You're just going to go ahead and turn the valve. You want to install this when this is in the off position. The second thing that you're going to do is you're going to open up your thumb screws a little bit here. And you're going to install this directly over the valve with the thumb screws pointing the same direction as the valve. So you don't want it like this, that'd be backwards. You want the actual thumb screws pointing the same direction as the valve. Now, when you push this onto the pipe, you can see that this metal fork, we call it, it's got some adjustability, and inside here, it's got gears that catches on the gears. So you want to make sure when you install this, you push it all the way into where it catches on the gear. And I've actually got a little spacer that we're going to be including. So if it's a really low profile valve, this one's kind of right on the edge. If it's a lower profile valve, you'll be able to actually put this spacer on the handle and then go ahead. And when you push this down, that actually helps make sure that the fork is engaged on low profile valves. So all you do is put it on, tighten your thumb screws here. Hopefully you guys can see that. And it's now mounted to the valve, ready to go. So that's step 1, 2, 3. Turn off, stick it on, tighten your thumb screws. Step 4 is plug it into power. So let me do that real quick. And this comes with a nice waterproof barrel connector.
What is the length of that cable there, Kevin? That was a question from the field.
I think this is a 10-foot long cable. We'll have to verify after the fact here, but it is quite long. Let's see here. This is maybe a arm like 1, 2, and a bunch, maybe 8 feet. Maybe, I guess. Could be 10. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in. Now, when you plug it in, it powers up. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pair this with the panel. Now, to show you that, I'm actually gonna go ahead and pull up my panel here, and we'll show you how this works. So I'm gonna go into settings. Everybody knows this here. Installation, devices, Z-Wave devices. Normally, being a Z-Wave device, I would clear it first. In this case, I've already done that in prep for this call. So I'm just gonna go straight to add device, and I'm gonna touch include on the panel. Now on the device, you're gonna just press this touch sense button 3 times. And there we see it shows up. It's S2 authenticated here. So let's go ahead and touch OK. And it's gonna ask us for the DSK. Now, you can do this one of 2 ways. You can actually scan the QR code on the side of the water valve. It's a little bit small for the camera to read. You could take a picture of it and blow it up. We also list the DSK on the side here. Or you can take the sleeve of the box and you can actually scan the DSK here. So let's go ahead and do that directly into the panel. If I can get this right here, should work. All right, there it took it. So again, you can either manually type in those 5 digits, which in this case would have been 07542, or you can actually scan the DSK, and it will know it's a water valve. And we'll touch add. All right, so now that we've added that to the panel, the next thing you want to do is you want to just test the valve. So to do that, we're going to test the valve from the valve first. And when we test it, it's going to automatically choose how much torque to use. So I'll just press the button one time. And here you'll see it's kind of figuring out how much torque to use. There it ramps up its torque a little bit. All right. So there, that's now calibrated to the valve. If I press it again, it'll close the valve. All right, and we are done with the install. Now, if I want, I can go here on the panel. And we don't populate a UI page for this because this is not a device that you're going to control very often from the panel. We don't give it what we call an end user page necessarily, a front facing UI page. We kind of hide the UI a little bit. But if you do want to control it from the panel, you can. You go to settings and you go right here to other Z-Wave devices. And here it will show up as the water valve, right? And I can go ahead and test it directly from the panel as well. All right, guys, now that's it for installation. Really simple, right? So 6 easy steps. Step 1, close the valve. Step 2, place it over the valve, and I bumped it here with my elbow, so it's turning off again. Step 3, tighten your thumb screws, plug it in, learn it, and test it. So really, really easy again. I want to show you a couple other things we're working on. We're working on a brand new foot design, which is really cool. This is our new fork. And the foot that we're shipping with for soft launch right now here in April, it fits a really broad range of these different types of valves. The new foot that we'll be coming out with in May for the full launch is a new foot, and when it clicks over the valve, it's designed to better fit really, really wide valves and really, really shallow valves. It also can account for what we call these NIBCO valves, which have this large brass protrusion. And so this foot is designed to fit around this brass protrusion. We have spring-loaded collars inside different size collars there. That accounts for all the different size nuts that you'll find on top of these valves. So it's a really cool design that's really flexible, and again, just fits lots and lots of different kinds of valves. With that, Mark, I'll pass it over to you.
Mark, you're on mute, but we'll ask a question while you found your mute button. One of the questions from the outside world there is, once installed and paired, is there some way to lock out the device so that neighbors aren't messing around or kids pranking you?
I'm glad you mentioned that. And on the page right here, it says outside equals turn off touch sense button. So there's actually a way to do that. On the touch sense button, this is a capacitive button actually, and so that people don't mess with it, and also so that raindrops and things like that don't actually mess with this button, you want to be able to turn this button off. See if I can remember how to do that. It's in the installation manual. I think I hold it down for 5 clicks and then 5 touches. Let's try it out here. So. Oh no, that's a recalibration. I'll have to look it up, but it's a number of clicks. So this is auto recalibrating it. If the calibration gets messed up, you can force recalibrate it, which is what it's doing now. But there is a way to turn that touch sense button off. It's in the install manual. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. And that's exactly what you want to do when it's outside.
Just moving on with best practices like turning that off when it's outside. I'll just go through each one. The first one is just follow the instructions step by step. I know some of us, when we got these, myself, I was excited to get one. I installed it in my house. Originally, we didn't have instructions for them, so I just installed it, and I actually had it still in the open position when I learned it in instead of the closed position with it sticking out. So when I went to calibrate, it kind of messed things up because it's trying to close. So make sure you have it in the, just follow those instructions step by step. And also with that, some of these valves, like in Utah, a lot of people are, you might once a year go and turn it on or off, or maybe you don't. Maybe they hardly ever have been opened or closed. And, they are very tough to close or to open. So I would recommend the first time, try it, open and close it. And then, but once you calibrate it, that motor inside the device is very, very strong. And that's why it does the whole calibration, is to make sure it's using enough torque to close it properly. And that leads right into, making sure the valve fits securely and you have it centered right on top of that nut. If it doesn't fit secure, and Kevin kind of mentioned we have a little spacer we'll be adding once that come May, that'll be included, the little spacer. So if you have a very low profile knob, you want to make sure it's fitting secure, because if it doesn't fit secure, the little gears in that foot, when it pushes up, will not catch and it will not work. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Kevin.
No, you're exactly right, Mark. And somebody just sent me a nice text who's on the webinar. I appreciate that, Hiram. And I also followed your instructions, Mark. I quickly looked up the install manual and went step by step. It's actually to turn off the button. I did 5 and 5. It's 3 and 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There you go. So that disables the button.
We dropped it in the chat for you as well, for everybody as well.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. So now you can see the button's disabled. It doesn't actuate the motor, doesn't do anything. It's flashing yellow, right? So
gentlemen, Mark and Kevin, there's been a lot of questions concerning UPS or backup battery. Is that something for the future?
yes, we are actually working on a backup battery right now. We're going to launch without the battery. You could certainly plug it into a UPS of your own if you wanted to get that backup battery and keep it up during a power outage. But we're actually working on a really nice, sleek backup battery right now that actually just plugs in line in between the barrel here. So you'll be able to actually have your backup battery in line of your power. And it's all the same connectors, very, very clean and sleek and designed to work with this product.
Do you remember how many hours of backup that has?
I don't know yet. That's still being worked on, the size of the battery and how that's all going to work. But
well, the next thing is as far as best practices is, if you want this to have real value for your customer, is going through and setting up those rules in alarm.com. And that's one reason why we're value pricing this in the kits, is that it's going to come with flood sensors. So you'd want to go in there and say, hey, if there is a flood, turn off the water. I think we've seen in Texas, and people now that have experienced all these flood issues with pipes bursting, that has created a huge demand. And, people might say, hey, this might only be a once in every couple decade type thing, but one flood in a home can cause so much damage, so much water damage, that it's just, it really does make sense to go into alarm.com, set up those rules. It sees water, it's going to shut it off. I've done this in my own home. I know Kevin has, so it's a really cool feature there to take advantage of. And then as far as the availability goes, we are beginning to soft launch this in April. We're in April now. So throughout the month, this will be in limited availability as we soft launch it, get it out there, and then come May, it'll be in full launch. It should be pushed to most all distributors by then and be available for you guys to purchase.
yeah, so the best thing at this point, if you guys are interested in getting your hands on some, go talk to your distributor. They can place a PO with us. We're ready to begin shipping these now for soft launch. Like Mark said, availability is limited. If you wanted to order a lot of these, we have a few thousand units available. I think they're going to go really quickly. So certainly encourage you guys to place some POs and talk to your distributor. And then as we get into May, we'll have a lot more units coming where we can really ramp this and scale this up. So I think that's all we had. We're about near time. Neil or Mark, any other questions that we can take from the field here before we end?
Nope, looks like we've answered all of the questions.
Yeah, there was one final question that came in there. Neil just asking about what if the power's out? And I think the discussion about the backup battery and potentially using a UPS is the answer right now. Another one just came in. Any brochures or marketing material on this quite yet? That was a question that just rolled in.
Yeah, really good question. So we are working on what we call a sales slick, right? Or a sales flyer that'll be posted very soon. For now, go to that product page on qualsys.com that's posted in the chat there, hopefully. And again, you've got a picture, a part number, a video, a quick guide. There's a few other pictures of the product there. You can kind of use that for now. We've got a really nice sales slick that'll be out here real soon.
All right, well, everybody, Kevin, Mark, great job. And again, please fill out the survey that will be popping up on your screen. So again, we can start to tailor these more to exactly what you're looking for. And we wish everybody a wonderful Easter and enjoy some time with your family.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Neil, everybody. Have a great day.